off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the DFS bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. DFS bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the DFS Bachelor, and it's a bittersweet day. It is our final NFL video of the season. A big cheers to all you guys. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Thank you so much for all your support during this football season. The exponential growth of the show during this football season has been crazy, and I really appreciate you all. Thank you all so much for a great season. I really do appreciate it so much. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit subscribe down below. Just because the NFL season is ending does not mean the content is ending. NBA videos nearly every single day for Fantasy Draft, Fanduel, Draftkings. We will also be doing XFL videos every week. So we're going to be big on the XFL. I'm very excited for that. So lots of stuff. Hit subscribe down below if you are so inclined to do so. Of course, by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $25 PayPal giveaway. That is sponsored by Draft Dashboard. We announce the winner for that every Monday morning. Draft Dashboard is the tool that we use, lineup optimizer, information tool as well, targets, snaps, rushes for NBA, DVP, usage, minutes, etc. You can get the tool, the mass lineup generator, the lineup optimizer, and access to my player pool for every sport, hockey, baseball, NFL, NBA, etc. simply by clicking that link in the video description below, and you can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. So, we've got my 49ers. I mean, let's just get this right off the bat. Of course, I've been a 49er fan for just under 33 years. I've been a 49er fan a long time. I'm very excited, very nervous about the Chiefs. This should be a great game. To me, it was the two best teams in the league. I mean, Baltimore, of course, has a stake in that claim, but Kansas City has really been on a tear. So these are two great teams, should be a great game. And of course, I'm a super homer for the 49ers. One thing, before we start getting into all the players, it's a single game contest. We've talked about this many a times throughout the year, that the odds of getting a tie at the top are high, especially on Fanduel. So it's always good to leave salary on the table, try to do something different. If you're playing several lineups trying to win the $1 million, it's not going to happen with the chalk. If the chalk lineup goes off, I always have one. Just chalky, used all the salary just in case there's a tie, because I'll tie, and win a few grand at the top. That never hurt anybody. But if you're really trying to stand out, being unique, leaving salary on the table, doing something different is the way to stand out, and it gives you the shot at being, the guy or gal at the top with all the money. So just throwing that out there. So let's start at quarterback. We got Mahomes at 12.6 on DraftKings, 16K on FanDuel. Now, of course, on DraftKings, when you play him in the captain spot, it's 1.5 times the salary. That is not the case on FanDuel, obviously. So it's going to be tough to get him in the MVP spot. Of course, he's got MVP spot consideration, especially on FanDuel. 49ers were 10th against opposing quarterbacks. It's a terrific defense for the 49ers. Patrick Mahomes seems a little bit matchup proof right now. Of course, I'll have plenty of exposure to Patrick Mahomes. Then you've got Jimmy Garoppolo. On DraftKings, he's $4,600 cheaper, down at $8K. On FanDuel, he's only $2,000 cheaper at $14K. Look, he threw the ball. He is not throwing the ball. He's thrown the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship game. Obviously, the 49ers are a running team. I do think there's some legit upside for Jimmy Garoppolo. The Chiefs were 12th against opposing quarterbacks. The Chiefs struggle against the run. They're one of the worst run defenses in the league and are exceptional against the pass. So the strategy for the 49ers is going to be run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. But with the pressure that Kansas City offense puts on opposing teams, Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely going to be throwing the ball more than 8 times this week. I think there's some big-time upside. I think you see a lot of early play-action passing. Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid are going to be playing this chess match. I do think you see some early play-action passes down the middle of the field. Kittle, Deebo Samuel, who I like a lot. Emmanuel Sanders for some value there as well. Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm certainly going to have exposure to him. I like him a lot more on DraftKings than I do on FanDuel with that huge salary savings. And I might have a couple, out of 100 lineups that are, with him in the captain spot just to do something different. I don't think he'll be overly exposed. Title of the sex tape. as he in the captain spot as he normally would be in a single game slate. But both quarterbacks I'm certainly going to have exposure to. Let's go to running backs. This is where it gets a little interesting. So we got the practice report today. Both teams, their full rosters practiced in full. Everybody's healthy, including Tevin Coleman for the 49ers. We know he had that separated shoulder, or dislocated shoulder during the championship game. He is going to play. But of course, the 49er running back that you want is Raheem Mostert. He was priced way down for that championship game after Tevin Coleman led the backfield carries in the divisional round against Minnesota. It was Raheem Mostert with 4 touchdowns. He put up a 52. We know the massive upside, captain spot potential. The Chiefs were 27th in the league in terms of fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs during the regular season. Raheem Mostert, love me a bunch of Raheem Mostert. Damian Williams for the Chiefs. He's going to be the lead back, of course. He's 9-8 on DraftKings. Over here on Fanduel, Damian Williams is 14K, and you have Mostert 500 cheaper. Like, I'll take Mostert 500 cheaper. The 49ers were 3rd against opposing running backs. It's a much different defense, a much better defense, especially against the run. But Damian Williams, as you can see throughout the playoffs, 19 targets over the last 3 weeks that he's played, including the 2 playoff games. He had 12 targets in those 2 games. Big time upside. Damian Williams, of course, is in play. 3 straight games of 20 or more. I like Damian Williams a lot for that. Tevin Coleman, 6'4", interesting player. 6'4" on DraftKings, 10K on FanDuel. I think he's overpriced on FanDuel. I don't have a ton of Tevin Coleman. No, I don't expect him to be highly owned, especially with that injury, etc. So I do think there's some tournament value there, just based on him not being highly owned. If you want to get real crazy, if you have 150 lineups and have him in a couple captain spots, you never know. Raheem Mostert can work him down the field, and Tevin Coleman could get 2 rushing touchdowns. You just never know. And there's no dispute that Kyle Shanahan has a rapport with Tevin Coleman, having coached him in a Super Bowl before as the offensive coordinator for Atlanta. He certainly trusts him. It's not outside the realm of possibility. Crazy things happen in these games for Tevin Coleman to outscore Mostert, so I'll certainly have some exposure. Now, are there any value guys, deep sleepers down here that we want to consider? I do think there is one. It's super risky. He hasn't had a carry in 3 weeks. You didn't see the field at all during the AFC Championship game. But I would be really surprised if Andy Reid doesn't throw LaShawn McCoy out there for at least a couple of plays. He's fully healthy. He's not battling that illness anymore like he was before the title game. Andy Reid has coached him a long, long time. He likes LaShawn McCoy a lot. I would be really surprised in a Super Bowl setting that he wouldn't at least let him on the field for a few plays, and you never know. So I do think there's some boom or bust super value at 1,400 on DraftKings. Again, he could easily get a 0. I could be 100% wrong about that, but it wouldn't shock me. And again, he's 1 injury away from seeing a ton of snaps. You just never know. So I do think there's some tournament upside for LaShawn McCoy, and I think he'll be like 2% owned, if that. So he could be an interesting tournament option. Again, if you're running multiple lineups, sprinkling him in here and there just to kind of set yourself away from the pack, I don't think is a terrible strategy. Matt Breida is at 3-2 on DraftKings. What is he over here on FanDuel? 7-5. I don't have a ton of interest there. A little bit of interest just because you never know how that shoulder is going to hold up for Tevin Coleman. So I'll probably have a little bit of a sprinkle of that. But the one guy for the 49ers that I'm kind of thinking about, if Tevin Coleman goes out, I might just maybe in like 2 out of 150 throw a Jeff Wilson Jr. in there because he's such a touchdown poacher and you just never know with the injuries. Again, the 49ers play multiple running backs. The Chiefs have really stuck to Damian Williams, the occasional Darwin Thompson carry. But it won't shock me again if LaShawn McCoy sees it. So I think he's the deep dive if you're making a bunch of lineups and you want to take a chance. He's 6K on FanDuel, by the way. Let's go to wide receivers. This is where I think you can really find the value on this slate. Of course, Tyreek Hill is in play. Massive upside. The 49ers have a terrific secondary. They were 14th against opposing wide receivers. Tyreek Hill lined up in the slot during the regular season 52% of the time. So he's going to see a lot of Kwan Williams. They may even throw some Ahkello Weatherspoon in the slot there, or they might try to put Emmanuel Mosley, who's a little bit faster. Terrific secondary for the 49ers and for the Chiefs. Richard Sherman's going to stay on that right side of the field, and I think anytime you see Tyreek Hill on that side of the field, which he did 22% of the time, or excuse me, 26% of the time, you will see some safety help over the top. Richard Sherman just doesn't have the speed to keep up with Tyreek Hill. But again, both secondaries great. Of course, I'll have exposure to Tyreek Hill, especially in my Patrick Mahomes lineups. He's 12K on FanDuel, which I think is underpriced. I love his price on Fanduel. He's 11K on DraftKings, not so much in love with that. But again, you get a full point per reception on DraftKings. You only get the half point per reception on Fanduel. Deebo Samuel, my favorite 49ers receiver, 7'6" on DraftKings. He's 8'5" on Fanduel. That's just too cheap. Deebo Samuel should be in every Fanduel lineup, nearly every one of them. There's also, he's going to see some handoffs in the running game. He's carried the ball, 3 times in the couple of playoff games that they've played. He's got big time upside. He's going to catch the ball over the middle, the play action fake across the middle against a very good Chiefs secondary. They were 3rd against opposing wide receivers this year. And when you look at that secondary with Charvarius Ward allowing only 0.19 fantasy points per route ran against during the regular season, Brashad Breeland on the other side of the field, 0.22 fantasy points per route ran against. Where they were most vulnerable was Tyrann Mathieu in the slot, allowing 0.43. Of course, we know Matthew's a fantastic do-it-all safety, but Deebo Samuel is going to be in the slot quite a bit, especially on the play action. You line up in the slot 26% of the time during the regular season. You'll see some Kendrick Bourne in there, Emmanuel Sanders 35% of the time, but I love some Deebo Samuel. Sammy Watkins has saved his best for last. The AFC Championship game, 10 targets, turned that into a 27. He performs best for the Chiefs in big games. Now he's 7K on DraftKings. Over here on FanDuel, I think he's a bit priced up at 10.5, but I'll certainly have some exposure. And then you've seen throughout the week, he's talking about maybe he'll retire or maybe he'll go somewhere else to create a Super Bowl team. Let's get something straight real quick, Sammy Watkins. You didn't create shit for a Super Bowl team. You've been nothing but a massive disappointment. Something like 92 catches over 28 games in his 2 years with the Chiefs. So if you think that you're like the missing piece for someone's Super Bowl team, you're high, like you're just high. Keep an eye on him in Miami. That's one thing to watch out for. Sunday morning, Saturday night, see what these players are doing. It is Miami. It's South Beach. So there's certainly some concerns there, but I'll have some exposure to Sammy Watkins. Again, the 49ers 14th against opposing wide receivers. He's going to line up on that side where Richard Sherman is quite a bit. Also, he lines up in the slot 57% of the time as well. The Chiefs have a bunch of moving parts. Then we get to some value guys. Demarcus Robinson, he played 70% of the snaps this year. He's on the field a ton. I do think there's some upside for Demarcus Robinson. 2,600 on DraftKings, I'm going to have him a ton. Look, it's all about opportunity. Of course, the 49ers are a smart defensive team. Robert Saleh is a terrific defensive coordinator. They're going to be worrying about shutting down Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. A guy like Demarcus Robinson at 2,600 or a guy like Mecole Hardman with big-time upside, I'm going to have exposure to both of them. I think that's the best value on the slate. Demarcus Robinson, 70% of the snaps. He's on the field a ton. It's just too much opportunity against a good defense. That could be where the Chiefs try to get an advantage, try to surprise the 49ers a little bit. I'm going to have my eyes on Demarcus Robinson at 2,600 on DraftKings. I simply think it's too cheap. I'll probably have a couple lineups where he's in the captain spot, and then I can pay up for everyone else. And if he gets a touchdown or two, just shocks the world. You just never know. I'm dancing all the way to the money. He's 6,500 on FanDuel. I just love the price for Demarcus Robinson. I really do. I think he's low owned. Probably, to me, the best value play on the slate. Mecole Hardman as well, 2,200 on DraftKings. We talked about that. And over here on FanDuel, Hardman is, I believe he's 6K. So I'll have some exposure to both of them there as well. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 target, 0 points in that NFC Championship game. Of course, we know the 49ers just ran the ball right up the ass of Green Bay. I do like Emmanuel Sanders, veteran, wily against a good secondary. He'll find holes in the slot. Title of the sex tape. There you go. A little bit of classics before the season ends. 5-2 on DraftKings. I don't mind the price. Of course, I prefer Deebo Samuel, but I'll certainly have some exposure, especially in my 49er stacks with Jimmy Garoppolo. I like that price a lot on DraftKings at 5-2. Over on FanDuel, he's 7-5. He and Deebo Samuel, I think, are both underpriced. Again, you're going to see more of this 49ers passing game. I know that their strategy, their modus operandi is to run the football. But if the Chiefs start scoring and putting pressure, they're going to have to throw the football. Jimmy Garoppolo proved throughout the year he's more than happy to do that. Sanders and Deebo Samuel are good plays. And if you want to get real jiggy with it in the slot, the 49ers like to go to Kendrick Bourne, especially in the red zone. He's 3-4 on DraftKings, and he's 7K on FanDuel. Let's go to the tight ends and avoid this pink eye, shall we? So, over here at tight end. Of course, there's basically only 2 tight ends you want to play. Travis Kelce, George Kittle. The 49ers were 4th against opposing tight ends. The Chiefs were 22nd against opposing tight ends. So George Kittle certainly has the matchup advantage. Travis Kelce's 9.6 on DraftKings. You got Kittle 1,200 cheaper at 8.4. When you look over here on Fanduel, you've got Kelce at 12.5 and Kittle down at 11.5. I like them both. I like the matchup for Kittle. Of course, Kittle is more of a blocker as well. The best blocking tight end in the league for my money. I like them both. When I'm doing a Patrick Mahomes lineup Chief stack, I'll have Travis Kelce. And when I'm doing a 49er stack, I'll have George Kittle. Now, if you want a couple of backup tight ends who are going to see the field a little bit, Blake Bell and Ross Dwelly, if you're playing an injury, etc., they're at 800 and 400 respectively on DraftKings. Blake Bell, on occasion, it wouldn't shock me to watch a little play action fake going to the backup tight end. Again, that's a deep sleeper. I'm not recommending putting him in all our lineup, but if you're looking for major salary relief and you want to take a chance for a goal line touchdown on a play fake from the 1 yard line, etc., Blake Bell and Ross Dwelly, I suppose, would be the guys. Again, very limited exposure there, and mostly I just like Blake Bell. He just sees the field a little bit more. You can see he played 38% of the snaps this year. Ross Dwelly, 34% of the snaps. And Ross Dwelly had some George Kittle injury games, which kind of boosted that snap total. Kickers, of course, they're both in play, and for salary relief, I think they're both fantastic plays. You got Robbie Gould at 4K on DraftKings, Harrison Butker at 4.2. They were 4th and 3rd against kickers, respectively, but I like both kickers, and of course, on FanDuel, they're priced in that same range at 9.5 and 9K. They both have, double digit in the teens upside. They both done it twice over their last 5 games. Actually, Robbie Gould's done it 3 times, including a 16 against the Packers. 49ers are more inclined to kick that field goal than the Chiefs will be, unless Andy Reid starts having his classic brain farts in big games. But we will have to see. And then, of course, at defense, on FanDuel, there are no defenses. On DraftKings, there are. You've got the 49ers at 3.6, the Chiefs at 3K. I do think the 49ers defense has higher upside. And the reason I feel that way is because the Chiefs are certainly, right now, one would assume the safe money is that the Chiefs will throw the football more than the 49ers. So there's more opportunities for interceptions. More importantly, there's more opportunities for sacks. The 49ers have a terrific front four. They put pressure with 4, Bosa, Armstead, Buckner, etc. D Ford against his former team. So I like the upside of the 49ers defense. If I'm going to play a defense in this, it's going to be the 49ers. I do think they're low owned because people are afraid of that Chiefs offense, and rightfully so. But the defense that I'll have the most exposure to is probably the 49ers. Now, most likely to turn the ball over, you would assume Jimmy G is a little bit more likely to turn the ball over than Patrick Mahomes, simply because he can get a little shaky when there's pressure in the pocket and make some questionable decisions. So there is some pick 6 sort of type upside for the Chiefs. Again, I'll have light sprinkles of both, but the one I'll have the most exposure to with the higher upside, in my opinion, is the 49ers. So that's our look, our final look at each position for the NFL season for the Super Bowl. Again, thank you all so much. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys. It's been a great season. If you want access to this tool, if you're going to keep playing NBA, DFS, MLB, hockey, click the link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard 30 days for $1. To find my player pool, you simply click the Watch Players tab over here on the left. You'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. It also has a timestamp when I last updated it. This will be very important if there's any information Saturday night, Sunday morning. You just never know. The flu, an illness, someone gets caught at the strip club, yada, yada, yada. They wake up and they're in Cuba. I don't know. Lots of things can happen, but that's how you find it. Click it there. Now we've got it highlighted. We'll make a sample lineup on each site. Again, you can set your exposures and do the mass lineup generator up here. Late swap optimizer. If there's a late scratch and you need to re-optimize, you can do that there as well. So over here on DraftKings, the first lineup it gave us: Patrick Mahomes, Tevin Coleman, Mostert, Watkins, Gold, Butker. So we'll do one with Mahomes in the captain spot. Again, like I said, I'm not opposed to doing something crazy like for tournaments where I come all the way down here and put Demarcus Robinson as the captain. Then I can pay up for everybody I want. I can get Hill, I can get Mahomes, I can get Mostert. I still got 5,000 more, so I can keep Butker or Gold, whichever one, and still come up and get a George Kittle and still leave 700 on the table. I think that's a terrific tournament lineup. Again, I'm not advocating to do that in all your lineups, but for a tournament, I think it's a really interesting strategy and one that I'll certainly employ. You could even go Jimmy Garoppolo right here if you prefer the quarterbacks. Then you'll have 1,100 on the table. Lots of things you can do. I'm leaving salary on the table. Like I said, 1,000 or more for a lot of my tournament lineups. I really want to stand out at the top. It's our last shot to go for this million, so okay, let's do it. All right, let's go over to FanDuel. FanDuel, a little bit more cut and dry, no defenses, etc. It's got Mahomes in the captain spot. I think that's solid. Mostert, Debo Samuel, Tyreek Hill, and then you have Tevin Coleman here at 10K, and that used all of our salary. That's more of a cash game lineup. Again, I'm not in love with the Tevin Coleman play. Makes me a little nervous. And I want to leave a little salary on the table, so I might come down here to Butker at 9.5 or Gold at 9K. So that's our lineup. Click the link. Try it for 30 days for $1. Create your own lineups, compare them to mine, etc. Again, cheers to you all. Thank you all so much for a fantastic season. Good luck this weekend to all you Chiefs fans. My dad's a Chiefs fan, so it's hard for me to be too harsh because either way, there'll be some happiness in the family, so that works out. Go Niners. I love you all again. Thank you all again so much. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, be part of the weekly PayPal giveaway. We'll see you for XFL, for NBA. For those of you who only play NFL, we will see you next season. We will most certainly be back for the preseason and everything else. May the fantasy gods, again, be with you all this weekend. Good luck, and goodbye. Thank you all again. Bye, folks.